Didn't your mother ever say don't trust the leaker? You know, Pokemon leakers never fail to surprise me. Keep me amused at least. Should we do this like Wang News? Roll the intro. Wang News. Well, we only got one story, so I got a story for this one. Images have been floating around about Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Remix actually being done entirely different. Check out these screenshots. It shows Dawn in the overworld. She's got bigger size. So why this is funny is that before all this started getting traction on the internet, someone sent me an email saying, keep my mail a secret. Update, the characters in BDSP aren't the same chibi style anymore. They've slightly changed it. Alright? And they attached all these pictures. So this is a photo of Dawn. I assume this is the Windmill place. And it looks really good. Obviously, I knew what I was looking at, but let me show you the video. So someone's got a Switch here. They got, of course, some Chinese letters in the background. And they have Pokemon Brilliant Diamond on their Switch. Wow, exactly. Exactly like the DS. It looks good, man. It looks good. You miss it. You miss it as if you've played this game. Okay, so it's the Windmill area. So these are the screenshots I'd seen. Wait a minute. Fam, you're not even playing. Are you gonna convince me you're playing on a Pro Controller? Wow, look at this right here. Now, I don't need to tell you this myself. This is obviously fake. It's never going to happen where they show mini chibis in the trailers and then suddenly it's not mini chibis. It's not illegal, but it's impossible because it says gameplay is not final, so they could do it. You know, this is the kind of gameplay that I was kind of hoping BDSP would have. I mean, we were all expecting Sword and Shield graphics, but the thing is, like, Pokemon is good at what they do. They're not good when they see what other people do and try to adapt it. It's like Game Freak's always jealous because they focus on creativity and they get to see everyone else expanding the graphics. So they saw Final Fantasy doing these cool, big 3D graphics and they're like, I want that too. And they achieved it in Sun and Moon. They did do a good job, but by achieving it, they lost so much else because they weren't focusing. It's like I always knew you need to stop focusing on the graphics and make a Pokemon game again. That's why my initial reaction to BDSP was excitement, followed by 5 seconds later realizing something doesn't add up here. This is kind of the best of both worlds. It has that overview angle as a homage to literally playing bird's eye view when you play these games. It's like Aura's graphics except merged with the cleanness in Sword and Shield. This is actually one or two of the best things they could have done. They could have adapted it like Sword and Shield, or they could have done this and made it a bird's eye view, but it's just clean graphics. Anyhow, the leaker came out and showed us the final footage. Here it is. And now we get to have some fun. I just want you to envision that maybe this is what BDSP looks like, and what would your thoughts be? So Route 209, she's going in the grass. It literally is Aura's graphics, but it's clean. This is well done. Look, she's elevating up and down. This is what you should have done. If you want to hide under the umbrella, there's the Deoxys meteors of it being faithful. What they really did with BDSP and the super small chibis is they're trying to teach ILCA. They're trying to give the games over to them. So this is like their tutorial. So they gave them easy graphics to work with. It's not entirely honest when they say they did it to be faithful. They wanted an easy project for ILCA. This is what a faithful remake would have looked like because it's a remake then. You know what I mean? It's not the same literal looking graphics. I mean, let me just show a screenshot of Lucas walking down Jubilife City. Like, you can compare it and think for yourself. Imagine if this was the real graphics. Now, some changes have to be made. Like, there's some kind of blender look to this. Like, it doesn't look like a Switch game. The shading and all needs to be better. But if everything was clean and these were the overhead graphics with the camera in a stable location and you're walking around doing your thing. Look, there's that ghost tower. You going in? Oh, look at this. Going under the bridge. You gonna use surf? Of course you're not gonna use surf. Huh, dude, this... I'm starting to see the future where this is real and it looks sick. Especially after making Sword and Shield and graphics like that. To dumb it down, not even back to X and Y style, but all the way down to some chibis that... The thing with the chibis is you can almost see the triangles that make up the chibi. They're not even good quality models. The rest of the overworld is pretty good, but it's definitely an introductory game for ILCA, and They're trying to hide that, and it's so obvious. Now, I don't know what other people covering this are saying, but this was never actually meant to be a fake leak. The dude has been showing his progress making this. I mean, look, this is a video from April 18. He never sold this as a leak. He just tried to recreate it, 3D modeling the whole place. And it also took him a long time. It's not to say something like this is easy. But now that you've seen these graphics, and now that you've heard me talk about how this is just an introductory game to LCA, does it not just make sense that it obviously is an introductory game, giving LCA the tour around how to make a Pokemon game. That was done by a single person, so it's missing the cleanness of the overworld. If you took what this person did, that vision, and told LCA to do that, so you got all of LCA's clean work combined with taller Auras sized models. It's not even Auras sized models, it's literally Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield sized models. It's just from the angle you're looking at it. Like this Dawn dude. This is Game Freak making it easy for LCA. If they really wanted faithful 1-to-1 remakes, that's what they would have done with. And Auras is pretty much 1-to-1 remakes. All the places are the same. There's still a grid system if you pay close enough attention. Like, you did not need to only do it like this. That being said, these chibis aren't entirely bad. They just need to clean them up so they look polished and not like dolls, and not where Don's nose is a visible triangle. It's kind of funny. He called them being super faithful remakes. Remakes so faithful they don't improve on anything. It's pretty good. I imagine this in my Switch, in my hands. I think the creator of this deserves a lot more credit. It's kind of mean his work was turned into a bunch of fake leaks and he had nothing to do with it. But let's give him his credit and actually go to his Twitter, and you can see a lot more takes he has on the games. Here we got one entering Jubilife City. Look at that. Again, remember, this is like done in Blender. It's like a 3D animation. It's not a Switch game. So that cleanness you're missing, that snappiness that you'd see in a game, it's obviously not gonna be in this. You know, you need the footstep sounds, you need better shading. It's sick graphics. You know, let me go buy some Pokeballs, let me go heal up my team, let me go find these 3 watch dudes. This is literally what you really call a faithful remake. You know, with the chibis, it's a faithful make. Good job. You made the game. You didn't remake it, you made the game. You see that? Did you see that right there? When you go to specific places that your camera can't see, it's, look at that, it snaps. Like, what the frick, bro? That's so much better, bro. Jeez, man. And she's between Sword and Shield and Auras models, dude. You know, making chibi remakes, for the most part, they did do this with the overworld. You see that Windmill place? It's still elevated up, and they did have to map the whole area out still. I'm dumbfounded to think that after having done all that, they decided to make mini chibis instead of just do the full-size chibis. Look at that. Steps in the sand. See, zoom out the camera more. You see this Windmill screenshot? This is the perfect thing to compare. Yeah, I know she T-posing. This is that snappy overworld when you're moving around. This is the final boss of the game. Don T-posing in front of... Okay, so are you ready for the ultimate comparison? Listen, I'm knocking BDSP down. I'm allowed to knock them down because they're intentionally being stupid about it. After making super chibis, they're intentionally being really dumb about the situation. It's almost immature of them to freaking be waiting 3 months after Chibi Dawn. It's like you don't care about the legacy of the game at all. Okay, so allow me to show you. Here we have the Windmill that Team Galactic takes over. Valley Windworks. Looks pretty cool, brings back memories. There's the drift loan. Let's take it up a notch. Here it is in BDSP, brought to life. Ain't that just beautiful? Huh, ain't it just beautiful? For real? This screenshot is pretty nice for BDSP. The shading, the windmill shadows, because it's a bit more overworlded. Bird's eye view, so Dawn looks normal here. The grass looks nice. Where's that enter button? Upgrade again. That is what this dude recreated all by himself. That is an actual upgrade. That is an actual remake of Valley Windworks. I have no words to say than just letting you look at these 3 for as long as you want. It's a no-brainer. You need them side by side to really realize the super difference. You know, just imagine this, right? This is the quality game you're playing. It's going to be a lot more zoomed in. But imagine you push that R3 button like you can do in the wild area, and it zooms you out. And you're super zoomed out, and you can see your Dawn and still move her. These are the elements of a faithful game, plus remake, faithful remake, not faithful make. BDSP is a faithful make. Hey, did you make the ham sandwich the way I like it? Yeah, I faithfully made it. More stuff. Here's Route 209 with all the bridges. It looks so nice. Do you see this? I mean, the trees are ass, of course, because this guy can only do so much. But this looks so nice. I give honest compliment. Diamond and Pearl weren't like Link's Awakening, where it needs to be remade in the same way. You see, remember this? Remember this when you let the Pokemon Platinum intro play? You know, the best part is, like, any of these screenshots. Even Heart Gold and Soul Silver had this thing where in some parts of the game, the camera angle would go down. And using Action Replay, you could have that camera angle everywhere. In Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So even to mix the faithful look with some of the Sword and Shield stuff, you could have where you push L3 or R3 and the camera can go down. So you can see Dawn more from her behind instead of in an overview. So it's like Sword and Shield again. I mean, once the game is made, once you have the overworld mapped out in the 3D environment, it's all the camera. It's all the camera game. And all that potential comes from that normal size chibi Dawn. Overview angle, snappy camera, push R3 zooms out. You can see the whole area and move your Dawn around. Because that's what Pokemon games are, overworlds. And then you push L3 or something and it goes down. And now you play it like Sword and Shield. All of that is not as hard at all as it sounds. Pokemon got like $99 billion, fam. If you've seen like Square Enix and stuff other companies can do. So Route 209, right? You're super zoomed in. You're like, let me have some fun because it's such a nice 2021 remade game. Let me push R3 and zoom out. This is what you see with the little Dawn right there. And you're moving around. And the camera just slowly pans now. Since you're so zoomed out, it doesn't need to pan that much when you're moving around. That's a faithful remake, bro. You take that information and you go on with your day about. When you leave this video, what I want you to think about is the fact that them calling it a faithful remake is not their creative approach. It's what they wanted to do to give LCA an easier time adapting to what Pokemon is. It's their simplified version of a game so that LCA can have fun. At least for the overworld. It might change for cutscenes. Barry, Dawn, and all actually have normal sized models for when they're fighting in games. So when you go to Spear Pillar and Cyrus is summoning Dialga Palkia, be fair to them. It's gonna be full on cutscenes. Full sized. It's not gonna be Chibi Cyrus looking like a me when he lifts his hand forward and summons Palkia. But it is a lie when they tell you this whole spiel that it's a faithful remake. Diamond and Pearl are not retro games for you to maintain that same look of the game. Like Zelda Minish Cap or whatever. That's the simplest phrase for it. Diamond and Pearl are not retro games. A remake redoes the game. Well, that's it from Wang News. That was not even Wang News. Well, that's our only story for today. I want everyone, if you can, to click the link in the description and go say something nice to this guy. Because this dude has been working on this for the past like 4 months. He tweets updates and they get like 4 favorites. And then some random leaker comes and gets like tens of thousands of retweets. He's done a really good job here and he has a good vision. He deserves to be, the person behind it itself deserves to be noticed. Just click the link and say something nice. Shine the like button, guys. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.
This the sound of my alchemy, the greatest success for all those who fell for me. I always respect the friends who wish well for me and live until the end and die. All time will tell for me, but I ain't going anywhere, believe me.